The writer of Ecclesiastes strikes at the notion, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. John the Baptist rails at his people in similar fashion. Don't tell me that Abraham is your father, for I tell you, God is able to raise up from these stones children to Abraham. Jesus tells the story of a rich man who had a great harvest, and so he decides to build bigger barns. And he tells himself, let my soul rest easy. Fool, tonight your soul is required of you. What are they talking about? Too much concern about oneself. Too much pride in your place in the world. Too much trust in earthly titles and riches. The stuff that falls in the teaching of many religious teachers into the realm of illusion. In Philippians, Paul is on the same page. If anyone has reason to be confident in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day, a member of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew born of Hebrews, blah, blah, blah. As to righteousness under the law, blameless. For a Jew, Paul had it all. He had all the nifty titles, followed all the nifty practices. The Jewish folk were not above strutting their stuff. They were occasionally proud, just like us. And without boring you with the details, let me just tell you that Paul was driving the BMW of Jewish bragging rights, both in his ancestry and in his practice. But when Paul met Jesus on that road to Damascus, when the light of God's love shone through him, he realized it was all nonsense. It had seemed so important, but it wasn't. It was human-made, transitory. It was illusion. There's a bit of an unusual linkage among some of your staff here at Trinity. Matt and I and Krista, we all sang for the choirs at Penn State. Krista might have sang just a little bit better. And we all sang for this guy, Tony Leach. And I hope maybe someday Tony will come and visit with us. But back when Matt was cutting his teeth, literally, and before Krista was even on this planet, I was singing for Tony's boss. This kind of crazy guy, this kind of genius named Raymond Brown. And Ray Brown would kick and scream and push at us every single year so that we would memorize hour-long classical pieces, often in Latin, that we in turn would then go sing with Andre Previn and the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. But at almost every practice, Ray Brown would stop, and he'd sit down and pause, talk about philosophy, and then he'd read poetry. And wow, could this guy read poetry? And he loved E.E. Cummings and Carl Sandburg and Emily Dickinson, but he really loved Robert Frost. Some of you might remember these words. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaves of flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down today. Nothing gold can stay. Even the world around us is transitory. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, it's not permanent. And what Ecclesiastes, John the Baptist, Jesus, Paul, and so many other wise religious teachers are trying to get us to realize is this, that only God, only the love of God in the end is what is permanent. And it's all in the end that matters. That's why Paul says, whatever gains I had, I have come to regard as loss, meaningless, because of Christ. You know, this time of year, I love going on Facebook because I love seeing those first day pictures. All of our kids armed with their various backpacks, marching off to school. It's a day of hope and joy. Maybe not so much joy for the kids sometimes, but it's a hope and a joy day. But it's also a day when parents and all of us who love these kids worry a bit. Will they make friends? Will their teachers be good and be good to them? Will they be happy? Will they be kind? Will the other kids be kind? That last one, of course, is the scary one. Because kids can be bullies. And the greatest weapon of a bully? It's illusion. When a bully says, you stink because you're this or you're that, or you stink because you're not this or you're not that, they are holding the person being bullied to a standard that simply isn't real, isn't important. It's a standard the bully has decided is important. And unless physical violence or shunning of a child is involved, the bullying works only because the person being bullied believes it a little, falls into the trap. Ask people who live in places where voodoo is practiced. They will tell you voodoo only works on you if you believe in it. We need to listen to the wisdom of our teachers. What is real, what is permanent, is the love of God. The opinion of someone about us, it's not the last word on us. The amount of money we make in life, it's not the thing that defines us. How tough we are, how great an athlete, how skilled a musician, all of these things fade. Superficial beauty, being a popular. Yes, some of these things can be nice, or they can be painful because they can be reminders that in the eyes of some we don't measure up. But they are not in the end permanent, important, real. Only God and God's love can claim that spot. And when we stress, and when we feel that we haven't done enough to make a mark in the world, when others throw standards at us that we don't ever seem to be able to meet, when the bullies hurl their insults, this is what we need to remember. And along with that we have been created in the image of the permanent, in the image of the real. We have been created in the image of God. In the end, of course, I think you should be proud when you accomplish something. That's a gift. And I think we should revel in the beautiful moments this imperfect life brings to us because God's truth shines in those moments. In the end, I think we should take in all of the joy that God gives us. But in the end, the thing that matters, that defines us, that calls us to be the people we are, is beyond the illusions the world will try to claim are real. In the end, the thing that matters is living out the love of the permanent, living out the love of God. And it's living out that love that protects us, strengthens us, and brings to us a joy that far surpasses any attempt to cling to the illusions, to the trappings of this world.